Hello, we're going to talk a bit about the match that just finished up. Liverpool have beaten West Ham 2-1, and it got a little nervy at the end with Thiago potentially getting a handball call and Jared Bowen getting called offside for that goal. Thank goodness, but we should not be in those situations. The Thiago one is not really his fault. He can't do much about it at that distance, but we've seen officials go either way in very similar situations. It's hurt us in matches and it's hurt other teams in matches, and that really needs to be addressed going forward. What is going to be the uniform call when it comes to these types of situations? Because there are plenty of situations that we've seen officials just botch completely. Same day, one match will call what, or one official will call one thing, and then in a different match, an official will call something else. Needs to be worked out and fixed. So, cons of the match today. West Ham went up early, and we've seen this play out all season. It's something that Klopp needs to address and see, is this a tactical thing? Is this a motivation thing? Is this a mindset thing? But the pro is that the players didn't start feeling sorry for themselves. They didn't lose their determination. In fact, you can see it go up a little bit. And maybe players were tackling a little harder or running into a press with a little more ferocity. And that's what you want to see. Liverpool also had 73% possession. Now, I think that was by design for West Ham and David Moyes. I don't think that they planned on trying to take us head on. It was very much sit back, park the bus, and rely on the counterattack. Why do you think that is? It's not like we've been in amazing form and West Ham are desperately trying to stay out of the relegation zone. Why do you think that was their tactic? Not sure. Another point, moving on into some player thoughts. Joel Matip was back in the lineup today after quite some time. We've seen him in and out, but Konate has really seemed to have taken over Joel Matip's place. I think he grew into the game. I was a little worried at first. I saw that he didn't seem to be at his best. He was a little rusty, but he grew into the game, and little by little, he was able to make the right reads, make the right plays, and eventually even scored a goal for us. That was crucial. And the fact that it happened on a corner kick where he just barely missed it, and somehow Fabianski kept it out of the goal, and then the very next try, he was able to put it in the back of the net, almost untouched. He broke away from the defender and was able to move straight into that position. So glad we had him in there today. I'm glad we're starting to get a rotation back with some of these players, because too long have we stayed we've gone stale. We've stuck with the same lineup, and it means that if players get out of form or get hurt or make mistakes, then we don't really have someone to fill in for them. That way you get a little bit of a refresh. And we've seen Pep Guardiola do that with Manchester City a lot this year. I think it's something that might be beneficial to us. What do you think? Is that something that we can adopt? Or should we kind of stick with the same mentality or same approach where we have our core starting 11 and everyone just rotates in after them? I have my opinion. I want to hear yours. And next, do you think Joel Matip will be featured in the next match? Is this an opportunity for Konate to get some rest, but also get Joel Matip back into form? And if he does, will he come back next year? Or is Liverpool dead set on selling him? I've heard rumors that they could fetch around 20 million for him. I'm on the fence. Joel Matip, he's getting up there in age. He's slower, probably our slowest center back. And if we really want Joe Gomez to develop, then he's going to need that time. If Joel Matip is ahead of him, then he's not going to get that time. And we could use that 20 million to buy an upgrade at center back, someone for way down the line for the future, because I'm not sure Joe Gomez is the best fit for Liverpool. I'm sure people have a lot of opinions, and I'm really curious to hear that, if people agree or disagree. Next player, Curtis Jones. My last video, I made the point that I thought Curtis Jones was the key to Liverpool's win. And that's because he is more physical than Harvey Elliott, who typically was starting in his place. He's faster and he's bigger. So he was able to really lock down the press, or at least initiate it, or be a really quick second to the ball kind of guy in this match. He's done it again, and that's one of the key things that I believe has been missing the entire season. The midfield press has been awful, and players are too old. You know, Henderson, Thiago, and Fabinho, when all three of them were on the field, then it was a disaster. There are no legs there. There's no speed. And Curtis Jones has stepped in and filled that youth void. Curious to see what other people believe, because Curtis Jones is a polarizing player. Some people think he's got the potential to be very, very good, and some people never want to see him on the pitch for Liverpool again. I think there's something in there, but it can't be handed to him. He needs to continue working. He needs to develop. So the cons I saw from him today, it seemed like he was doing well in the press, doing well in securing the ball, but he didn't seem to be doing too well in making progressive passes. Struggled with the turn a little bit. From what I was seeing, he struggled to find himself in open positions to receive the ball, so progressive passes as well as receiving the ball. And maybe it's a trust issue. Maybe it's a systematic issue. I don't know. I want to think a little bit more on it and maybe develop that idea in the coming days for the coming matches. He plays more, we know more. Luis Diaz, cons, he needs to get into a groove. He's not in a groove yet. You can tell. He's rusty. Super, super rusty. But the positives, he has his speed, and this is noticeable on the field. His energy ignites the other players to start runs and move the ball forward, or have a little more intensity on defense. And that's what we want. That's what we need. Once Diaz is fit, do you think that he will overtake Diogo Jota? He started a lot of games in that spot for us last year. Is Diogo Jota potentially going to lose his spot? He's been playing well, but Luis Diaz he's going to be chomping at the bit. Last, so we've got this match against Tottenham Hotspur, and it can be pretty big in terms of making it into the top 5 for the end of the season. Top 5, at least we'd have Europe, and although a lot of people maybe turn their nose down at Europe, it's a competition where we can develop players and scout competition and potentially win a trophy. That's what matters. Winning, developing players, and playing. So, what do you think Klopp needs to do in order to prep the team for Tottenham? How do you think Tottenham will line up against Liverpool, and what will be their methodology that they will bring to the table? Let me hear your thoughts. Subscribe, like, or no, who gives a shit?